A baby wildebeest stands within 15 minutes of birth. By nightfall, it can outrun a lion. A human infant cannot lift its own head for 3 months. Left alone for one afternoon, it dies. We call ourselves the smartest species on Earth, yet we begin life as the most helpless. Our infants arrive functionally premature, stripped of the survival instincts every other newborn mammal is born with. This isn't a flaw. It's a trade. Picture a mother on the African savanna 50,000 years ago. Her pelvis is narrow, built for the efficiency of walking upright. Her baby's skull is swelling around a brain unlike anything else in nature. Grow that brain any larger inside her, and neither of them survives the birth. That crisis rewired our entire species. To understand how, we need to trace 3 discoveries. A hidden metabolic wall that forces mothers to give birth before their babies are ready. A strange new life stage found in no other primate. And the brutal cost that nearly erased humanity before it began. For decades, the standard explanation was simple: narrow hips. This was the obstetrical dilemma. The idea that walking upright shrank the birth canal, forcing babies out early before their heads outgrew it. Then researcher Holly Dunsworth at the University of Rhode Island tested that assumption directly, and it fell apart. Her research indicated that pelvis size does not actually constrain gestation length. The real limit isn't anatomical, it's metabolic. A pregnant body can only generate so much energy. Somewhere around 9 months, a growing fetus's demands outpace what the mother's metabolism can sustain. At that point, birth isn't a choice. It's a biological deadline. That single shift changes the whole story. Human development isn't an escape from a narrow pelvis. It's a calculated energy strategy. A newborn human's brain is about a quarter of its adult size. A newborn chimpanzee's brain is already closer to 40%. Chimps hit physical and social maturity fast. We don't. For roughly the first year, a human baby functions like a fetus that happens to be outside the womb, unable to regulate its own temperature, digestion, or sleep without constant intervention. Keeping it alive takes enormous, sustained energy from parents and the group around them. In almost any other species, that kind of dependency is a death sentence. Predators pick off helpless young. Exhausted mothers can't keep pace. But humans turn that liability into our greatest advantage because so much brain growth happens outside the womb, it happens in the world. Shaped by sound, faces, language, danger, love, and experience, instead of being locked in by genetics before birth. We're not born with fixed instincts. We're born with the capacity to build whatever instincts the world we land in requires. Surviving infancy was only the opening move. What came next was even stranger. An entirely new chapter of life that no other primate had ever evolved. In most mammals, weaning leads straight into independence. A chimp stops nursing and starts foraging for itself almost immediately. There's no in-between. Humans broke that pattern. Chimpanzees can nurse for up to 5 years. Early human hunter-gatherers, by contrast, are estimated to have weaned their infants around age 2 to 3. That gap is the problem. No longer nursing, but nowhere near ready to feed or protect itself. Evolution's answer was something completely new: childhood. And it wasn't just a side effect. It was a strategy. Weaning earlier allowed mothers to have children more frequently, but that also meant families now had several helpless children at once. One parent couldn't manage that alone. So our ancestors built something entirely new: cooperative breeding. Anthropologist Kristen Hawkes's grandmother hypothesis explains how grandmothers, aunts, fathers, and other members of the group helped raise children together. That network didn't just provide food. It surrounded children with more voices, more teaching, more stories, and more knowledge than any single parent ever could. But this incredible system came with a terrifying cost. Feeding a childhood stage brain is expensive. During these years, the brain can consume the majority of a child's resting metabolic energy. By some estimates, well over half. Something has to give, and it's physical growth. Human children grow slowly compared to almost every other species, because the body is quite literally rationing resources away from muscle and bone to keep the brain fed. That trade-off has a price. For over a decade, a human child is physically weak, too slow to flee, too small to fight, unable to forage or defend itself. In the unforgiving conditions of the Pleistocene, that made children extraordinarily easy to lose. Estimates of childhood mortality in early human populations vary, but many researchers place it strikingly high, with some suggesting close to half of all children didn't reach adulthood. A drought, a bad season, a predator moving into new territory, any of it could wipe out a generation of children too slow to outrun the danger. Our ancestors were gambling constantly, trading physical safety now for cognitive advantage later. And the bet only worked if the social network held. If the grandmothers, fathers, or neighbors stopped cooperating, even briefly, children died. Our entire evolutionary strategy rested on trust between people who weren't guaranteed to cooperate at all. It paid off because of what that fragile window made possible. Those years of physical weakness were also years of non-stop learning, language, tool-making, social rules, the accumulated knowledge of everyone who came before. There was no other way to transmit all of it. A primate on a normal developmental timeline simply doesn't have the time. We didn't get big brains and then figure out culture. We got a long, dangerous childhood, and that gave us the time to fill those brains with everything culture had to offer. Our long, fragile childhood is the furnace that forged the human mind. A weak, slow-growing ape turned into the species that built civilization, because it was willing to protect its most vulnerable members for years on end. But that strategy was built on dense social networks, extended family, tight-knit communities, constant cooperation. As modern life pulls families apart and isolates parents, what happens to a developmental system that was never designed to run alone? Was this trade-off the smartest bet evolution ever made? Or a debt we're only now starting to feel the weight of? Tell me what you think in the comments. And if you want to see what happens when that safety net fails, the next video covers how ancient civilizations actually treated their children. Subscribe so you don't miss it.